Welcome back, friends. Welcome to another lecture on the Teacher on Demand series. This lecture is going to be on the clearance test. This lecture has been requested by one of my followers and I made it specifically for him. In case you have any requests in any of requests for lectures, you are most welcome to email me and I shall make the presentation for you. Right. Let's get down to clearance test. The definition of clearance test is it is the volume of plasma completely cleared of a substance in a unit interval of time. Volume of plasma ml completely cleared of a substance in a unit interval of time, let us say a minute. So the units of a clearance test is ml per minute. Once again, the definition of clearance test is the volume of plasma completely cleared of a substance in a unit interval of time. It is a measure of the GFR or the glomerular filtration rate. That is the amount of blood that is being filtered by the glomerulus of the kidney in 1 minute. Now, what do I mean by that definition? Let us say that we've collected urine and we found a substance X in the urine to be of 10 milligrams. Let us say that we have collected the urine for 1 minute. So there is 10 milligrams of that substance X in the urine. Where did this substance come from? This came from the blood because urine is an ultrafiltrate of the blood. Now, if we find that the concentration of the substance X in the blood is 2 milligram per minute, 2 milligram per ml, then theoretically 5 ml of the blood would have to be completely cleared of that substance X to produce 10 milligrams in the urine. That is, if 10 milligrams is come in the blood, in the urine, and the concentration of the sample of the substance X in the blood is 2 milligram per ml, then theoretically 5 ml of the blood would have been completely cleared of the substance X in that unit interval of time, which is 1 minute. This is what is called clearance test. ml per minute, that will be 5 ml per minute. Now, why do we need to do a clearance studies? Well, when we do the basic tests for assessing the renal function, and there's a video of this in one of my videos of this, urea, creatinine and urine routine examination are the most common tests done for evaluating the kidney function. But there may be a long time before which these tests become abnormal. That is, the kidney is getting damaged, the kidney's function is becoming low, but it will take a long time for the urea or the creatinines to increase. And by the time they increase, substantial or a significant amount of kidney damage has occurred. So, we need a marker that will rise early and tell us about the kidney damage at a stage when we can treat it. There's no point telling me that the kidney has got damage and I can't do about it. We need a marker which will increase early enough to tell me that the kidney is getting damaged, and if I do some treatment right now, I can protect the kidney. Clearance studies is one such test. Now, what do we need to know about a clearance test? We need to know that what are the substances that can be used for the clearance studies. We need to know how the studies is done, and we also need to know about something new which is called the eGFR. I will cover all these in the lecture. Right. Now, what are the substances that can be used? When I use a substance for doing a clearance study, I need to be sure the substance fulfills the following criteria. 1. It should be filtered by the glomerulus. Proteins do not get filtered by the glomerulus, so there's no point in doing a clearance test using proteins. Second, after the substance has been filtered from the glomerulus, there should be no reabsorption or secretion of the substance. We know that a lot of substances after getting filtered get absorbed, like glucose. It gets filtered but everything gets absorbed. But because glucose is getting absorbed, glucose is not a good substance for doing clearance studies. For a substance to do a clearance studies, it should get filtered, and after filtering it should just come out in the urine and either should get reabsorbed, not secreted. This is the most important characteristic of a substance for clearance test. Second, the level of the substance in the blood should be constant throughout the day. There should be no fluctuating rise or fall of the substances. Third, it should be easy to estimate both in the urine and in the serum. Now, what are the common substances used? Substances can be endogenous, that is, which is being produced by the body and which can be used, or exogenous, where we inject the substance into the body and then see how much is being excreted. The best substance of endogenous marker is creatinine. Creatinine clearance is one of the best tests for evaluating renal function. Why? Because creatinine is routinely being produced by the body. The level of creatinine in the blood remains constant throughout the day, and it is once it is excreted, filtered from the glomerulus, it is not reabsorbed. Inulin is the best marker for clearance studies because this exactly follows all the characteristics we required, but this is a foreign substance which we have to inject into the body. Urea was initially used for clearance studies, but some amount of urea gets reabsorbed in the loop of Henle. Hence, it is not a good test, and nowadays we don't do urea clearance. As I said, inulin is the best. Creatinine is an endogenous substance, so we are using it quite often, but there is one problem with creatinine, that a little bit of creatinine gets secreted in the distal convoluted tubule. Hence, the values are not as good as inulin. Gold standard for clearance test, inulin. Best method to do clearance test in a routine day-to-day setting is creatinine clearance. The difference being that a little bit of creatinine gets secreted in the distal convoluted tubules. Right, how do we do the test? We need a timed urine sample. Usually a 24 hours urine sample is collected. Now, how do we advise the patient? We tell the patient that at 8 o'clock void out whatever urine is present and discard it. After that, note the time and then start collecting the sample. All the samples of urine throughout the day should be collected. We use a preservative to prevent bacterial contamination. Next day at 8 o'clock or the time at which the study was started, the person is expected to void whatever urine is present. That is, discard the first sample, start collecting all the samples for the next 24 hours, and then next day at the same time when the test was started, whatever urine is there, pass that and collect it. Somewhere in between, collect a blood sample for testing also. If creatinine clearance is the test being done, then the blood sample can be collected anytime because the creatinine level stays constant throughout the day. So what do I have? I have a 24 hours urine sample, okay, and I have a blood sample. Now the first important thing is we have to measure how much quantity of urine which has been collected, and this has to be expressed to the nearest ml. It is not like half a Pepsi bottle, this is 2 liters. Something is less, so we say it is 1700 ml. We have to actually measure it in a measuring cylinder and note the volume of urine collected in 24 hours. Next, we use it in the formula. The formula for clearance is U into R by B, where U is the concentration of the substance in the urine, B is the concentration of the substance in the blood, and R is the rate of urine formation. Some of the books will say U into V by B, where V they give a confusion meaning volume. We want the rate of urine formation, that is the volume of urine which you have collected in ml over 24 hours expressed in minutes. So 24 hours into 60 minutes per hour. So the volume of urine collected divided by 24 into 60 will give us the rate of urine formation. The rate of urine formation will be expressed as ml per minute, and the concentration of the substance in the urine and the blood should be expressed in the same units like milligrams per deciliter. Then we use the formula U into R by B, where U is the concentration in the urine, R is the rate of urine formation, and B is the concentration of the substance in the blood. The normal range of creatinine of clearance, we said inulin is the best clearance. It measures the GFR very well, which is approximately 125 ml per minute. Creatinine clearance is what we normally use, and the approximate creatinine clearance is about 100 to 110 ml per minute. Now you can see that there is a difference between inulin clearance and creatinine clearance, and this difference is because a small amount of creatinine is secreted in the distal convoluted tubules. Now urea clearance test is not being done. Why? Because we said that urea gets absorbed in the loop of Henle. But if you're doing urea clearance, there are two types of urea clearance, that is the normal clearance and the standard clearance. When the rate of urine formation is greater than 2 ml per minute, we use the standard clearance, which is the same formula U into V by B. When the rate of urine formation is less than 2 ml per minute, we used a standard clearance formula, which is U into root of R by B. This test is no longer being done, so we don't need to know much about it. Now, you can understand that if we do a clearance studies, it involves collection of 24 hours of urine, and if we have to do so much of tests a day, my laboratory will be nothing but a Sulabh Sauchalay. So, based on data obtained over years of research, people have come out with a mathematical formula using some mathematics and a formula to estimate the glomerular filtration rate. This is called the eGFR, estimated glomerular filtration rate. There is a complex formula, but if we put the values of serum creatinine, age, sex of the patient, and then press the calculate button, we get the eGFR. These formulas are available online. We just have to feed the values, press the calculate, and we get the result, which is the estimated GFR. Now, there are many such formulas. You have MRDR formula, you have a Crockford-Gault formula, you have a CKD EPI formula, and the formulas are given here. We don't really need to remember all these formulas. It is available online. You just have to ask for the formula, feed the values, and the eGFR comes. So nowadays, instead of doing, and this requires only one sample of serum. We are not even talking about the urine concentration. Just based on the serum concentration, we can get an estimated GFR. Nowadays, GFR is calculated using the eGFR formula, and very rarely do we resort or do we try to do a complete clearance test. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Please feel free to contact me at my email IDs and give me your valuable feedbacks and suggestions about the lecture. In case you have a request for any lecture on any topic pertaining to laboratory medicine, I will be very happy to help you. I'd also like to mention here that all the pictures shown in this lectures have been downloaded from in the internet, and I thank the people who have uploaded these pictures. Thank you. Jai Hind.